Right now at noon, some area community leaders discuss ways to foster economic growth.
And we've got some sunshine out there, a couple of clouds here and there, and it is still cold. We'll have a look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, the question of a new aquatic center in Neosho makes its way to the April ballot.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Snowy. New at noon today, the roof of a home in Joplin collapses in an early morning fire. KOAM's Shannon Becker brings us more.
A call for fire about 4:50 this morning. This residence at 21st and Wall in Joplin. 13 degrees as firefighters arrived, battling this house fire as the roof was collapsing.
No one lived in the home. It's an older residence under remodel. Ladder 1 extended above the structure to put out flames and also to tell firefighters on the ground with hand lines those extra hot spots to notice. The immediate area was closed to vehicle traffic until about 8 a.m. as fire trucks and hoses running to hydrants blocked the streets. Joplin and Wall along 21st. Joplin Fire Marshal responded for investigation into the cause of the fire. Complete details are unknown at this time.
In the Blendville neighborhood of Joplin, I'm Shannon Becker. Live and breaking news, KOAM News Now, Joplin News First.
Now let's check in with Chris Warner for a look at the forecast.
Yeah, of course, they did have to deal with very cold temperatures this morning, a little bit warmer this afternoon, but still well below average. We've got a few clouds out there, otherwise not a bad looking day. Our camera downtown Pittsburgh, MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline again, just a handful of clouds here and there. Otherwise, we're getting the sunshine. We're just not getting the warm air. Yesterday started at 10, getting close to some record lows out there. Only made it up to 27. That's the other thing is our high was only a couple degrees above what our average low should be. We're going to be getting closer to average as we head into next week. Well, those details in a moment. 23 in Joplin right now, 21 in Pittsburgh, and across the region, of course, a little colder up north, 16 in Iola, 18 Yates Center. The rest of us doing all right, hanging on to the 20s, but even a light breeze in very cold weather can make it feel a bit colder. Thankfully, not as much colder as it did this morning. Iola had below 0 wind chills. Clear skies continuing through the night, and then temperatures slowly falling back through the teens. And later this evening, winds will shift out of the south. We're going to talk about the impact that'll have, and that does include some potential snow here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, a new report from the Jasper County Sheriff's Office gives us a look at crime in the county last year. According to the Sheriff's Office, detectives kept busy. Numbers show after no homicide investigations in 2023, the department investigated 3 last year. All 3 were cleared. Domestic assault cases, crimes against children, and felony stealing cases all increased as well. We have a link to the full report on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. The city of Neosho wants to build a new aquatic center, but first it needs a green light from voters. Last night, the Neosho Council voted to add a question to the April 8th ballot asking Neosho voters to approve a use tax to help fund a new aquatic center. The current city pool has been plagued with issues. Before the 2023 season, the city repainted and resealed the pool and replaced the pump and motor system. Now it's currently operated by the Neosho Freeman Family YMCA, and in December, the city asked residents to fill out a survey to see what they'd like in a new outdoor aquatic center and recreation area. Now the plan is to build it just west of the Neosho Golf Course near Waldo Halter Memorial Drive and Hell McGinty Drive. Now, potential amenities include a new outdoor swimming pool, pickleball courts, an inclusive playground, and renovating the current golf clubhouse facility. Now, the use tax would match the city's current 3% sales tax and would apply to items purchased from out-of-state vendors.
If you shop online, you do pay a state of Missouri tax at the state of Missouri tax rate, 4.4225%. What the city council is asking is the 3% local sales tax that you would normally pay at local brick and mortar stores, that you would pay that amount also online for online purchases.
The aquatic center funding question passes on the April ballot. Consumers would only be required to fill out a use tax return if yearly purchases exceed $2,000. Economic growth could be on the horizon for Cherokee County. A strategic planning meeting was held in Columbus to discuss plans for growing the county's economy. KOAM's Melissa Alexis was there.
There's a lot of growth potential here.
Growth. That's what the city administrator of Columbus hopes to see happen across Cherokee County.
I think there's a lot to like about Columbus.
And that's why residents and business owners gathered at the Lunch and Learn at the community building in Columbus to figure out a plan to help Cherokee County thrive.
An opportunity to start a conversation, really. It's just meant to be a broad conversation about what the needs are.
The city administrator of Columbus, Jake Lettner, says they're looking to build on some of their past efforts.
In the past, we've offered some different grant opportunities and some low-interest loan opportunities. We're here today to try to figure out where the needs are and try to best put together programs and services that'll meet their needs.
He says he's proud of Columbus's progress, but one roadblock he notices is population size.
Over time, we've dwindled. Our population has declined, so really we're trying to stem that tide.
Over the last 10 years or more, we've gone down every year in population. So we want to stimulate some growth, stimulate a reason for people to stay in the area, and then bring more people in so we can grow this great part of the country.
Just a minute, and we want everybody to at least write one thing down.
Lettner says one of his ideas to address this issue is investing in housing and infrastructure. The executive director of Cherokee County Economic Development says he wants more people to know about all that Cherokee County has to offer.
We have the greatest 13.2 miles of Route 66. We have Big Brutus. We have the best hunting and fishing in the state.
Reporting in Columbus, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
As of 2024, Cherokee County's population is about 19,000 and Columbus's population is just over 2,800. Well, in less than 1 week, Cherokee County Sheriff-elect Brian Henderson will take office. Henderson won election in November with more than 78% of the vote. Now he's assuming the sheriff role from David Groves, who has been Cherokee County Sheriff for more than 15 years. Henderson had been chief of police in Baxter Springs until his election, and Henderson says he's ready to get to work.
So we want to build that bond of unity that we can all work together to be law enforcement for all the citizens of Cherokee County, no matter where they live or what city or where they live in the county. All of us working together only builds that bond and makes it stronger for the citizens.
Now, following Henderson's election, the Baxter Springs City Council appointed Jimmy Hamilton as the interim chief of police. Multiple wildfires are burning out of control around Los Angeles, the latest coming up. And later, we're making creamy mushroom risotto in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Well, terrifying images out of Los Angeles County, where a windstorm is fanning the flames of at least 3 major wildfires. They're burning out of control, destroying home and businesses and forcing tens of thousands of Californians to evacuate. CBS's Danya Bacchus reports.
Oh, wow. The whole thing just went down. The whole house just collapsed.
The images are apocalyptic. What started as a brush fire ballooned into the Palisades fire. It's one of 3 wind-fueled fires in the area. Firefighters are picking their battles with parts of the Pacific Palisades beyond saving.
Obviously, this one here is a total loss, so they're trying to move ahead and skip ahead, get in front of the fire, and keep it from going from one building onto the next.
Firefighters are also battling fatigue and finding some hydrants without water. The danger is ever present. One man using a hose to douse flames almost got burned in the process.
Good?
Tens of thousands have had to evacuate, and Tuesday some residents fled in such a hurry. Some abandoned their cars in the gridlock.
There's a lot of fire right there. That's why the people coming. We leave the car.
It's hard to see, hard to breathe, and hard for firefighters to contain, as seen by this home that's completely engulfed by flames. Worst of all, the wind.
Okay, the wind's starting to pick up again, so it's going to get a little gusty, and the smoke's going to start coming through one more time.
Hurricane-force winds are also fueling the Eaton fire northeast of Los Angeles.
You can imagine trying to fight fire in those winds. It is really incredibly challenging and volatile and unpredictable.
Firefighters are hoping for even the slightest relief.
Those winds will die down somewhat as we head into this afternoon and into this evening, but we're still seeing that offshore flow.
Crews hope to minimize further damage in this trifecta of dangerous fires. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Well, still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Grab your culinary passport and your appetite, because today we're making a dish from northern Italy. It's risotto, and it's creamy, easy to love, and so versatile.
And even though it's cold today, it'll be a little warmer tomorrow. And the shocker here is we're tracking snow chances tomorrow as well. A look at that full forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon. So we've got another bitterly cold day out there. We are getting some sunshine, though. It's one of those things where it looks warm. It just certainly doesn't feel that way. Let's show that big time to you. There it is. Broader view, got some clouds, but not enough to really block the sunshine, which again is good. At least it'll make it look a little warmer outside. And we will actually warm up into Thursday, even though we have increasing snow chances on Thursday, which that has its own impact on the snow, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Rest of today, though, winds will start to shift, coming out of the west eventually, and then ultimately out of the south as we go overnight. Now, of course, I will have no impact on our temperatures overnight, so it's still going to get very cold tonight as we head into Thursday morning. But then the winds are going to start to increase through Thursday morning, and as they do so, they're going to bring in some moisture, they're going to bring in some clouds, and eventually it's going to bring in some snow. So the snow, we're not looking at this time at any major accumulations across the area. I know some of you, Doug, for example, my kids, lots of kids love the snow. I don't mind the snow as long as it's not 5 degrees when it happens. We're not looking at a ton of snow at this point. What we are looking at, though, is with this moisture, and take a look at these temperatures as the snow rolls in tomorrow afternoon. They're at, in some cases, or even a little above freezing. So what we're looking at is the possibility of maybe a heavy wet snow, which while it may not pile up, it could lead to other issues, making a few more slick spots on roadways. And more importantly, with those south winds gusting to 25, that could lead to some blowing snow, which at times, especially during your afternoon or evening commute, could reduce visibilities out there. So it's something you want to keep in mind, because once this snow gets going and spreads across the area, it will last through the evening, off and on throughout the evening, and then eventually it won't wrap up until around sunrise tomorrow morning. Now, once the snow starts, temperatures will fall slowly. Thankfully, they don't plummet back behind the snow. And then we get a cold front by 5 o'clock Friday morning. It's almost lined up right on I-44. Winds will shift out of the north, and it'll keep us a little cooler Friday than we will be tomorrow, but it will still be warmer on Friday than where we are today. Now, through the first half of Friday, a few lingering flurries or snow showers could be taking place. Not much expected out of that. And then skies will begin to clear as this front sweeps on through, and it's going to be chilly, but we're actually going to start to warm up into the weekend and get relatively close to normal. So let's talk about possible snow totals. Again, not much has actually changed. Yesterday, there was a significant change on some of this data from the morning newscast to now, but this time not really seeing that same change. I think we're still looking at maybe 1 to 3 inches in some locations. I know it's just showing a little bit higher, but this computer model is still thinking that that low might try and lift a little further north. There's a very slight chance it could happen. It doesn't appear likely, but you know how Mother Nature is. She's going to take the path least taken. So that's where these numbers are coming from. Now, either way you paint it, the best chances for any kind of measurable snow is going to be roughly from, say, Nevada down toward Parsons, Independence, and then southeast of that point is where the better chances of snow will be, since this system is coming up out of the south. The other computer model still keeps that low a little further to the south, but it has brought up its totals. Yesterday it was showing maybe a dusting. It's brought those totals up to about 2 inches in most locations. So again, I think at this time we're in a 1 to 3, maybe a 1 to 4 inch range. So nothing significant, but hey, if you like snow, it's better than nothing. Again, mid-20s today, northwest winds at 5 to 10. They'll shift out of the south, my goodness, out of the south tonight. Mid-teens overnight tonight. Tomorrow we'll be in the mid to even upper 30s, so not at average, but warmer than where we have been. Snow starts rolling in afternoon, and as we go into Friday, again a little cooler, but still warmer than today. As we go into the low 30s, take a look at Saturday, low 40s maybe, and as we head into next week, a little cool to start, and then eventually we start getting a little closer to average as we head into the second half of next week. So it's almost going to feel like springtime by the time we get to Wednesday because of how cold it's been here lately.
Oh, that'll be great. Thanks, Chris. Well, stick around. We're making creamy mushroom risotto in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Let's check in with Howard, who's making creamy mushroom risotto in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
What do you say I share a recipe with you that in the past you may have been intimidated by? It's risotto, and it originates in northern Italy. Over the years, it's become crazy popular here in the States. And once you find out how easy it is to make, you'll wonder why you didn't make it sooner. The first thing you want to do is warm some chicken broth in a saucepan, and we'll come back to this in a sec. Now, in a large saucepan, we saute some onions and mushrooms in a little butter until they're tender. Then we stir in some arborio rice, garlic, and a bit of wine. And cook that until the wine is absorbed. Now here's the trick to making creamy risotto. Slowly add in the warm chicken broth, 1 cup at a time, stirring it until it's absorbed. Right before serving, stir in a bit more butter, some Parmesan cheese, parsley, and pepper, and it's done. See, I told you it was easy. And once you take your first forkful, I have a pretty good feeling that this will become part of your monthly dinner routine. You could even add some cooked shrimp or chicken to it. To get the recipe for our creamy mushroom risotto, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a Northern Italian way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe on KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
All right, so again, sunny today, a few clouds, still cold, a little warmer tomorrow, and then snow rolls in afternoon. Again, not looking at major accumulations. The big concern here is really with those gusty south winds, maybe some blowing snow in the afternoon and evening, leading to reduced visibilities. And then take a look at next week. By golly, we are going to finally get back a little closer to normal out there. Like I said, it's going to feel like shorts weather by next week.
Oh, I can't wait. All right, thanks, Chris. And Dow, what do you have for us later on?
Well, a lot's coming up at 5. For starters, a new campaign for those battling dementia. We're going to take a look at lifelike robotic puppies, as you see here. They're helping bring comfort to seniors with the disease. Plus, the CDC says norovirus cases have doubled compared to last year. We're going to hear from local health officials on why that is and how you can keep yourself and others safe from the illness. And the Joplin Public Library and the Friends of the Joplin Public Library announced a new delivery service for library patrons. Join us for those stories, a lot more. Of course, it's coming up on KOAM News at 5.
All right, thanks, Dow. And that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5. Until then, have a great rest of your day.